Hello everyone, my name is Andrea and I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you about the power of strategic outreach. I'm sure most of you in this room do some sort of outreach and you want to improve it, or you're just starting out and you don't know where to begin. I believe there's a lot of noise out there when it comes to outreach. I think you heard it all today. And I believe there's a lot of emphasis put on the email itself that sometimes we forget everything else. Like your linkable asset, your media list, who are you actually reaching out to? Are these people relevant? Your prospect, your website analysis, especially when it comes to link building, your timing, your follow-ups, all have a huge impact on your outreach success. Now, I don't know about you, but my favorite words are, especially when a journalist says that to me, say, oh, of course, I will add your link. It's my favorite words. Or when I see the link highlighted, underlined, that nice blue color, it gives me what running gives me. So instead of the runner's high, I get the link's high each time. It's absolutely beautiful. And at the end of the day, we're here for one common goal, and that's to get you high-quality, relevant links. And I wish I could stand here today and tell you that all you have to do is use ChatGPT and it's going to solve all your problems, but I can't, because I believe outreach is actually a mixture of manual labor and automation. If manual labor is done correctly, automation can work. It's magic. So in Legacy Communications, we're very proud of the links we've built across the digital PR and link building clients. We got them on the likes of Fox News, Fox Business, Buffalo News, and then our link building clients, we got them on the likes of G2, Cloudways, WordStream. Last time I checked, the blog post on WordStream, this one specifically, has over 21,000 visits per month. And our client's link is here, and I'm going to teach you how to find sites like this and how to pitch them your linkable asset. Now, before I do that, I'd like to talk about emotional outreach, because I think we've all experienced it, where we're coming into outreach and we have a kind of an idea of how it's going to go. We're kind of optimistic, like Steve here at the top, how things are going to go and how everything's going to be. And then things don't go that way sometimes, and things go very wrong. We start to panic, and we're just like, what just happened? We're probably saying the F word more than once here, which means, I'm fine, everything's fine. And then once everything's over, we're kind of reach a blissful stage, but we don't know how to feel because we just experience this whirlwind of emotions. And what I aim to achieve also by the end of this talk is to eliminate most of these emotions for you. So next time you're coming into your outreach, kind of look at it a bit differently and make your job easier at the end of the day. So one of the most important things in your outreach is your linkable asset. You can't start your outreach, unfortunately, without some sort of a linkable asset. So the first thing you have to do is you have to identify or create a linkable asset that others will want to link to. Now, the easiest way to identify something is to just go onto your client's blog or your blog and see what's there, and see if you can turn anything into a digital PR release or just something you can add a twist to it. And if you're thinking, I don't have anything like that, you don't have to worry. You can actually create something. So in Legacy, we build a lot of linkable assets just from things that we have found. So we did like agency burnout, where we interviewed like the likes of Carrie Rose, Ryan Stewart across Ireland, UK, and the US. And we asked them about this topic. We got some really interesting insights. We looked at US employees and US CEOs. So this is where we found that most CEOs in the US are actually men. And again, interesting insights there. We looked at top 10 influential states in the US. So basically this talked about where most influencers are coming from. Really interesting insights there. And if you're thinking, I don't have anything like that, I don't even know where to start with my ideation, look at your FYP. I mean, TikTok has been mentioned a lot in these talks today. I'm a TikTok scroller until the day I die. I tell myself every night before bed, Andrea, 5 minutes. You're going to bed, 5 minutes. It turns into 5 hours. My colleague here, Megan, she knows, because I send her TikToks at like 1 a.m. and I just be like, it's just my guilty pleasure. But I believe that, TikTok is such an underrated social media channel, and if you use it correctly, you can really find great ideas for your clients. And especially when it comes to your linkable asset, if you're pitching it out as your part of your press release, make sure that it's already live on the website before you pitch it out to journalists. Again, you're just saving the hassle of explaining why it's not live, and also make sure that the linkable asset already included in your press release. And what I also recommend when it comes to your linkable asset, especially when it comes to journalists, don't include everything in the press release. Obviously include the most important information, but leave something else for the linkable asset. So if you have extra graphs, infographics, or anything like that, make sure you mention that in the press release. We always do that. I was like, oh, for additional information, click the link here, stuff like that, just to nudge the journalist to actually link to the linkable asset. Now, your media list. I think this has been talked about today a lot when it comes to like, who are you choosing to be part of your media list? And the reason why is because the key to nailing your campaign success is effectively targeting and narrowing down your media list. If you're casting a really wide net in the hopes of getting links and coverage, you're actually doing yourself more harm than good, because what you're doing is you are frustrating somebody at the end of that email. You're going to frustrate yourself, because no matter how many follow-ups you'll send, you'll not get the reply or the coverage that you want. So quality beats quantity here each time. So how to find your perfect match? No, I won't ask you to do Tinder roulette here with me, but what I ask you to do is be really picky about the people that you're choosing. They really have an impact on your outreach success. So find keywords that capture the essence of your story or client's product or service. So what do I mean by that? So last year, we got really challenging link building client come in. They're in the SaaS space. As you can see, this is their website matrix. It's absolutely fantastic. And their linkable asset was about web hosting. Now, web hosting is basically a solution, if you don't know, that makes your website visible and accessible, but it also ensures that your website is operating at maximum speed, that's reliable, that it's secure. Again, not a very popular topic, if you ask me. It's not like marketing or sales. So we had a really hard time finding prospects for this client. So what we found was mostly listicles, so like web hosting solutions providers, and they weren't really the type of sites we wanted to reach out about our linkable asset, and we're running out of opportunities quickly here. So with the snowball method, we were actually able to find really high DR sites with really great traffic. We got our clients on really high traffic sites, and this is through the snowball method. So what is the snowball method? So the snowball method is a link prospecting strategy on steroids. It'll actually help you find infinite link opportunities. It's something that my manager and I created, and we stand by it. I've included a link on this slide if you want to learn more about it, but I broke it down into 3 simple steps. So the first step is you have to identify a shoulder niche. So what is a shoulder niche? So shoulder niche is basically a string of keywords that are related to your target keywords. So in our instance, it was web hosting. So we had to ask ourselves, what would people be searching for if they needed web hosting? Well, probably stuff like how to start a business, how to start a website, how to start a blog, because all of these require web hosting in the end, because you need a website, and if you have a website, you need web hosting. And then what you do, you put that keyword into Keywords Explorer in Ahrefs. You scroll down to the SERPs option here, and you'll find gold, literal gold. And this is where you find all the sites that talk about that topic, mostly blog pages, and you can see their DR, their UR, their traffic. And all of these sites talked about actually needing to have a website to start a blog. So we knew our linkable asset was highly relevant to what they were talking about on the content of their page, which is absolutely crucial when it comes to link building, relevancy. And step 3, just export it. So export it as Microsoft Excel and just sift through all the options and see what works for you. Obviously, there will be some blogs that may not work for you, so just cancel them out. But with the snowball method, what you will do is you will actually uncover more and more keywords, the shoulder niches that I just talked about, and you will find more and more link prospects. So you will never run out of link opportunities here. Now, when it comes to digital PR, I know there's a lot of automation tools that help you find journalists and stuff like that. I haven't found one. I like to do this manually. So what I like to do is I like to use search operators to look at what recently has been covered by journalists that I'm going to be reaching out to. So these are the main ones that I use, and then I just put them into Google, and I just filter to the news section, and I find them there. Again, you're looking for relevancy again, like, are these people relevant? There's no point in reaching out to 1,000 people, and it's just going to cause you more harm than good. Now, prospect or website analysis is absolutely crucial when it comes to link building, because the more research you do, the fewer delays you encounter, especially if you have these links you have to hit, these KPIs. So what should you focus on? So relevancy, again, am I reaching out to the right person? There's no point in reaching out to somebody in sales when you're doing a link building campaign, because they don't know what's going on the website. So make sure you're reaching out to somebody in content marketing, in SEO, marketing manager, for example. And then the second one, which is the most important one, which I believe, is my content or anchor relevant? So if you're pitching to another site, ask yourself, is this relevant? Is my content going to fit naturally into that existing content? Because if it's not, there's no point in actually reaching out. And again, your anchor. Don't use general anchors like click here, find out more. Make it really specific to what your linkable asset is. Again, you're trying to train Google into actually picking up that keyword. And again, it just makes it easier for that person who's reading that content again to see like, okay, oh, this is relevant. I want to learn more about that. And that's what it is, helping users find out more information. Now, value. Have you forgotten somebody? I think we've all forgot somebody when we're reaching out to people and we just think of ourselves at the end of the day, but there's somebody else on that email reading that and they're just thinking, what's in it for me? So if you're doing the likes of like guest posting, for example, which is a great link building strategy if you use it correctly, tell them what's going to bring them. Like if you see that they haven't posted a blog in a while, just say, well, I'm going to write a blog post for you. I'm going to choose the topic ideas. I'm going to make it really easy for you. These are the examples that we have done in the past. Just make it really easy. This is actually one of my favorite quotes from Gary Vaynerchuk, and it says, give, then ask. And I live by this when it comes to digital PR and link building because I think it's true. You should always give more than you're asking for. I know there's a lot of people like, oh, how do I get this? How do I get that? But you should always be asking yourself, what can I give more? So that person who's reading that email seems like, oh, wow, yeah, I'd love to work with this person. Or yeah, let's talk about this. Again, just make it really easy for them. Clarity, something I learned from my brother. He works in sales, and he says if you confuse them, you lose them, especially when it comes to emails. I'm sure you've heard it from Zoe today, like people lead busy lives. People don't have time to read emails. They skim them. So make it really easy for them. Make it transparent. Make it just easy to follow and ask for what you want, but also be clear. Now, personalized outreach. So this is where it happens, where everybody's like, it's happening, and we're just like, oh my God, what's going to happen once we send that email? So don't be generic. Please don't be copying and pasting templates off of Google. Like everybody can see if you are doing that. Just use it for inspiration, but don't use it as your, holy grail. Make sure it's thought out, something that you learned today. Make sure it's personalized, but don't be paralyzed by it. I know we probably read our emails over and over. Oh my God, should I send it to the journalist now? But you won't know until you send it. So just send it, and you will actually get the data then. So this is one of the emails we got from one of our, this is the clients that we worked with. So we did a guest posting strategy as part of our link building where we reached out basically to pharmacies to offer to write guest posts for them because we knew that they weren't really actually able to write blogs. And our client was in the supplement sphere and they supply their products into these pharmacies. So we knew it would be great because we're offering relevant content. No, so how can you get results like this where people are writing to you? It's like, absolutely, love to hear more. So when it comes to link building outreach, I like to divide it into a few simple steps. So client's email, always make sure that you're set up on your client's email, such as Gmail or Outlook, and you're outreaching from that. It just avoids confusion. If you're sending it from your own email, people are just going to be like, oh, so you work there, but you don't work there. It just avoids all of the confusion. Compliment. So pick out something that you found interesting. I know people always talk about this, but it is true. We're egocentric creatures here, okay? So it's really important to compliment, but don't make it very general. Don't make it like, I love your content. What does that even mean? Don't use that, please. Case study. In one line, describe what you do, whether it's your client or yourself. People don't care, so don't make it too, big or like about yourself. Your request. So what is it that you're asking for? Is it a guest post? Do you want to get your link on their blog? Make it clear. Again, you want to avoid confusion and extra follow-ups that you don't need. What's in it for them? Always ask yourself that. If you're just pitching what you want, but you're not actually selling them, okay, what you're going to get out of it, you have to rewrite that email. Digital PR outreach. I think this was said today, all-in-one approach. Don't be attaching documents in your press release. It just causes hassle and people don't want to be clicking on different things. Just make it all in one. And if you have to add additional links, I would suggest you add a Dropbox link for your infographics or any extra imagery and make sure that you're telling that the journalist as well. Country. Please, if you're reaching out to US journalists, make sure you're changing the spelling. I think this is kind of common sense at the end of the day, but really pay attention to how you're tweaking your press releases when you're sending it out, especially things like currency and all of that. You want to look professional. Concise intro. So in your intro before your press release, just say to them, what is this press release about? What are the insights that are going to be helpful for them? So you're making it really easy. And contact information is absolutely crucial. There's some journalists that call me up or just want extra information. So you don't want to be missing out on coverage or links by not adding that information in. Timing. I feel like Zoe said that today. The times you're sending your press release is absolutely crucial. I feel like timing is not talked about enough. So use time to your advantage and it will become your greatest ally. And the reason for this is because 10 a.m. in Philadelphia is not 10 a.m. in San Francisco. This is absolutely important, especially when you're trying to get into the US market. If you're sending an email out and it's 8 a.m. your time, but it's 2 a.m. their time, what's going to happen? Your email is going to be pushed down in their inbox and they're not going to see it. So what then you're looking at is like, oh, why are they not opening my emails? Well, they're probably not opening your emails because you're sending it at the wrong time. So always make sure and you're doing your research about the countries that you're sending it, especially in the US, because there's over 50 states. Now, analyze your open rates after you send that first email. This will tell you a lot about your timing. So if your timing is off and people are not opening your email, this could be the reason why. You probably send your email too early or too late. Follow-ups. I think we've all been here. We're just like waiting around. It's like, what's going to happen? Are they going to give me the link or what? And follow-ups. So they're not there to tick a box. I know people say, you should do 3 follow-ups. You should do this many follow-ups. And it's like, it's arbitrary criteria. You have to look at the data. And you have to look at your open rates. They need to be analyzed and improved by 1% each time. So don't be sending the same follow-ups each time. So how do you get that link? Reevaluate your approach. When it comes to digital PR, leverage the data you have at your disposal. What do I mean by that? So at the start of the year, we did a press release about the top 10 influential states, and we looked at where the top influencers were coming from. But it was very generic in the beginning, and we weren't getting the coverage that we wanted. So we're like, oh, how do we tweak this? So we actually looked at the influencers that were coming out of each state. So we made it really clear for that journalist, these are actually the influencers that are coming out of your state, and these are amazing people, and this is what they're doing. Again, making it very, very specific, not very generalized. So again, use the data you have at your disposal. It just creates that extra personalization that you need. Link building. Use all the right channels at your disposal. I know people talk about email, but you can use other things. You can use Slack. You can use LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn to reach out on behalf of my clients sometimes regarding a linkable asset. And this is one of the answers I got. I reached out to this guy, and I said, I have a linkable asset that I think would be very relevant, and I'd like to talk to you about it. And he's like, sure, I'm open to it. Again, don't be afraid to use other channels. Like, don't be stuck in like, oh, I just have to send emails. You don't. You can use different channels all the time. Be persistent. Again, it's one of the emails we got back, and the person said, thank you for persisting. I felt so good about myself. I was like, oh, God, that's great. And that's what you want. You know, I think a lot of the times we feel like, oh, we're annoying the person because we keep sending them the email, and it's like, oh, God, they probably hate me at this stage. But they don't. If you're doing it in a strategic way, you know it's going to be valuable for them, and you know that this person is the right person, and you're not just reaching out to, you know, somebody randomly. Again, it's going to work out. Frequency. So analyze the frequency at which you're sending your emails. It's very crucial. So when it comes to link building, I like to send the follow-up after 7 days, and then the last email after 5 days. Again, just to keep them fresh on top of their inbox. And when it comes to digital PR, I can't give you the right answer here because it's just depends on what you're doing and what's leading up to that. So you have to tweak it on what's coming up and make sure that, again, you're not annoying the journalist. Now, you get the story, you get the coverage, but you don't get the link. That's the worst part, and you're just thinking like, oh God, how do I phrase it to them that I want this link without being desperate, you know? But don't be saying things like, I need a link. No journalist wants to hear that, I'm sure. So I broke it down into 3 steps that I use all the time when I'm asking for a link, just to make sure that it works. So you usually have a 24-hour window once the story is released, to ask for that link. After that, the journalist might actually forget what they were covering and they're moving on to the next thing. So make sure it's usually in the 24 hours. After that, it usually depreciates after. Be specific. So what I like to do is I like to thank the journalist first. So I say, thank you so much for covering your story. I link to the story. And then I'd be specific. So I was like, I was wondering, would you be able to link to your client, add in your client, whatever, and then add the link. Again, you're being very, very specific. You're making it very easy for them. You're adding the link. And then be detached, my favorite thing. I think that if you're coming on too strong, you're like, I need this link, I need you to get me this so I can hit this goal. People can sense that even through email, it's desperation. Be detached. So saying things like, if you can't, no worries, have a great day. 9 times out of 10, it works all the time. So use that to your advantage. Don't be desperate. People can read that, and you probably just get on their spammy folder, as Zoe said. They're not going to reply to you ever again. So be a human. Treat people like that at the end of the email as well. They're only human, and they lead busy lives. So just make sure that you're using that correctly. And lastly, go get them links. Thank you so much.